A very good evening to you all. Thank you for joining us for the 10 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight. With me, Wadulo Mark Arnold, your news anchor. Without further ado, let's take a look at tonight's top stories before we start. In our top stories tonight, the Kabaka of Uganda, Mutebi, mobilizes Uganda to join the HIV/AIDS campaign, ending. Uganda Ghetto Kids have received a golden buzzer at Britain's Got Talent. And Deputy CDF General Elwelu asks Ugandans to be patriotic. And in sports, KCCA FC out of the Uganda Cup after losing quarter-final match. Yes, thank you for joining us. We now give you the news in detail. Now, following the escalation of the fighting between Sudan Armed Forces and the Rapid Support Forces, the Secretary of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, Dr. Wokne Gebeyehu, this afternoon convened an emergency virtual closed meeting of the member heads of state and governments to discuss how best to de-escalate the situation and restore calm in Sudan. The heads of state expressed deep concerns on the current situation and immediately called for a cessation of the hostilities between the two sides. Now, in a statement to members attending the meeting, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni condemned the misuse of force in a situation that undermines all progress made through dialogue over the last many months.
The Executive Secretary for calling this emergency meeting of the IGAD heads of state. When I last visited Khartoum, and in all the other meetings before, Naivasha and so on, I always told the Sudanese about the dangers of ideological and strategic mistakes. We used to discuss with the General Bashir the dangers of encouraging the ideology and the politics of identity, of tribes, identity of race, Arabs, Africans, identity of religion, Muslim, Christian. And I used to tell General Bashir that this is very dangerous for that country. And indeed, eventually the country broke up into north and south. Now within the north, you still see some of these problems. So therefore, it is not correct to go on papering over mistakes year after year, decade after decade. And the ordinary people suffer so much on account of the ideological, strategic, and political mistakes of leaders. We must have principled politics. Principled politics. Even when you are to fight, you fight for a principled cause. don't fight for just opportunistic causes.
In more news, scores of the people this morning thronged the Luwiri for the 10th Airtel Kabaka birthday run that was flagged off by His Majesty the Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II at Luwiri in Mengo, which started in 2003. The annual Kabaka birthday run has over the last 10 years rallied Ugandans to join, celebrate the Kabaka's life while participating in efforts to reduce the burden of the disease. Previous editions have focused on ending sickle cell, fistula, as well as encouraging people to join efforts towards ending the spread of HIV and AIDS. Just like the past 2 years, this year, the run was held under the theme Ending HIV/AIDS by 2030. Details in this report.
The Kabaka of Buganda, Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II, has asked the public to avoid creating stigma among the HIV-positive patients, but advise on how to stay long. The Kabaka said this as he flagged off scores of runners that turned up in big numbers to participate in the Kabaka's 68th birthday run held at Luwiri Palace, Mengo, in Kampala. Despite an early morning downpour, the Kabaka's subjects turned up in big numbers to participate in the 68th Kabaka birthday run. The Katikiro of Buganda, Owekitiibwa Peter Mayiga, was at Luwiri, Mengo Palace to receive Kabaka Ronald Muwenda Mutebi II to flag off the runners. In his address, the Kabaka directed people to avoid stigmatizing HIV patients.
nga balamu nga bamanyi engeri gye basobola okwekuuma n'okulabirira eŋŋanda zaabwe bannaabwe nga balina obulwadde buno.
The Kabaka applauded runners for participating in the run and advised them to maintain this spirit for the good of the kingdom.
Badakaawo bantegeeza nti run yaffe feeno eno eri kumpi okufuuka ezimu ku mbire ezisinga okuba n'ekitiibwa mu nsi yonna. Nga kyekitegeeza nti tujja kuba nga tuli wamu n'embire ezibeerawo mu bibuga nga New York, nga London, nga Zurich n'ebifo ebirala.
Katikiro Charles Peter Mayiga asserted that the 68 years of the Kabaka's life, the public should have learnt a lot from his message about AIDS prevention.
Buganda edde ku ntiko munakola Kabaka byabagamba munasigala ku mulamwa.
The head communications at Airtel Uganda, the main founders of Kabaka Run, John Birungi, says all the 10,000 kits made have been sold out.
Very grateful for the support that has been given to us by the very many hundreds of thousands of runners who have risen up today and joined us in a worthy cause. This year's or the 10th edition of the Airtel Kabaka Birthday Run is intended to support the efforts that end HIV/AIDS by 2030.
In years to come, first of all, we shall continue partnering with the Buganda Kingdom to organize this run, because it's very important. But also, hopefully, when we are done with the works, we are able probably we shall be able to transport people from Mukono, from Kawolo, from Jinja, from Tororo as time goes on, so that very many Ugandans can travel cheaply and effectively to come and participate in the run.
The head of security at KCCM, Menton Salim, says security never gave a chance to the lawbreakers.
Chala chimpadde abajja ne beegatta mu baddusi bano ne bayingira mu lubiri mu kavuyawo ne banyakula amasimu g'abantu. Ffe nga rapid response unit okuva mu kitongole kya KCC nange kamanda waayo situkiddemu twasuze wano okukakasa nti abaddusi b'emisinde gino egisinga obuganzi mu nsi yonna abantu babeene tebabbibwako wadde ebintu byabwe wadde omuntu omutwalako akantu konna.
The Nabagerek of Buganda, Sylvia Najinda, Prince David Wasajja and German ambassador among other dignitaries participated in the run.
The First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, has called on the youth to proactively take charge of their lives, embrace sexual purity, and shun foreign cultures that seek to impose on them homosexuality and other practices of sexual impurity. Now, addressing over 2,500 youth who gathered at Standard College in Ntungamo for the 3rd Regional Youth Summit held under the theme, My Life, My Responsibility, the First Lady urged the youth to refrain from defiling their bodies and rather choose the right path of sexual purity.
Addressing over 2,500 youth who gathered at Standard College in Ntungamo district for the 3rd Regional Youth Summit held under the theme, My Life, My Responsibility, the First Lady urged the youth to refrain from defiling their bodies and rather choose the right path of sexual purity and to embrace values that enable them take responsibility for their lives and hence achieve their goals.
So please don't believe the lie that homosexuals are born that way and can't change. This myth is aggressively promoted by those homosexual activities who want us to believe that homosexuality is a fixed and changeable trait.
Quoting the president of the Family Life Watch International, Sharon Slater, in her book, Stand Up for the Family, the First Lady explained that sadly what many are trying to promote as a right to sexual activity comes at a cost that is much greater than most realize, as indeed the tradition of family disintegrates, children get hurt, economies decline, and nations are weakened. She went on to say that according to Slater, youth who engage in homosexual behaviors are likely to attempt suicide, are at increased risk of suffering major depression and anxiety disorder, more likely to engage in substance abuse, and to engage in high-risk sexual behavior, among many other dangers. She also advised the young people to resist peer pressure and what is commonly referred to as FOMO, or fear of missing out, or they end up getting into trouble and eventually suffer the consequences of their bad decisions.
Please draw the line and choose to do the right thing today, not tomorrow. Today, identify a reliable accountability partner on whom you can rely on to stay in touch and encourage you to commit to never turning back again. God is a merciful Father who forgives our sins and invites us to walk in faith and obedience to His word. So I encourage you to seize this opportunity to completely transform your lives.
The Youth Summit for the Southwestern region, which was attended by dignitaries from the UN, members of parliament, district leaders, the Uganda AIDS Commission, and over 50 head teachers from the participating schools within the region, witnessed all the youth recite their commitment to True Love Awaits, a sexual purity campaign pioneered by the First Lady in the early 90s. The student representative also signed the True Love Awaits campaign canvas, which was endorsed by the First Lady in her capacity as national champion for adolescent girls. The UN resident coordinator, Susan Ngoji Namodo, said that Uganda is a very youthful nation where 35% of the population is between 10 to 24 years of age, and so starting at this very early age to equip young people to have more agency over their lives and choices is truly powerful.
You have been fortunate enough to receive this complementary education. Use the knowledge that has been given to you. Capitalize on the investments that your parents have made in your education, that the government broadly has made, that other stakeholders in societies have made. Make sure that you do your part to make sure that you grow up to be an adult that we are all proud of, that you can help do your part in terms of that prosperous and sustainable Uganda that we all look forward to. So please do your part.
Student leaders who attended the Youth Summit at the Standard College in Ntungamo came from 43 schools from the southwestern Uganda districts of Mbara, Rampara, Bushenyi, Shema, Rukunjiri, and Ntungamo. Others followed virtually. Reporting for UBC, Baguma William.
Uganda's children dancing group, the Ghetto Kids, has scooped a golden buzzer at Britain's Got Talent following an outstanding performance that took the audience by astonishment. Now, this prompted one of the judges, Bruno Tonioli, to hit the golden buzzer midway of the performance. The children were led to the show by Kaberamaido, a volunteer service provider, giving a lease of life to about 30 children, including orphans.
That time of the day.
We are the Ghetto Kids from the Pearl of Africa, Uganda.
When training meets energy. Yeah! Skill meets talent. And commitment promotes togetherness for a good cause. This is what Ghetto Kids, a local dancing group from Uganda, displayed before a mammoth crowd in London. It was at the International Talent Search Show, Britain Has Got Talent. Simon Cowell, as always, was present amongst other judges to see for himself what stuff Ugandan children are made of. On they danced, and off they showed to the world what it means to be called the Pearl of Africa. As the excitement filled the audience, Bruno Toniol, one of the judges, could not hold it, hence the golden buzzer.
I have to do it now!
The kids were so energetic to the extent that age and gender rated none at less, as both boys and girls proved their worth. It is a group comprising of children between the ages of 5 and 13. Dauda Kavuma, whom the kids call their father, is the brain behind this group with such motives.
I have 30 kids that I'm taking care of. Some are orphans. We are using music, dance, and drama to make lives better.
Formerly living on the streets, the children have had a second lease of life after embracing transformation from the Kavuma-led effort.
Ghetto Kids is like an orphanage in Uganda. We are 30 kids living in one house.
We are one big family.
Before, I was living on the streets of Kampala. Being part of the Ghetto Kids has given me a lot of opportunities. They feed me, I go to school, they buy me clothes. If this one is sad, we all be sad. If we are happy, we all be happy.
This is yet another illustration of talent that Uganda continues to nurture. In 2019,
I'm going to go out on the limb and ask Ezekiel just to sing by himself for a minute.
Okay. You're broken down and tired.
Two siblings, a boy and a girl, silenced East Africa when they won the East Africa Has Got Talent competition.
I do say yes. You are going to the next round of East Africa Has Got Talent. We shall see you there. Bring your lungs.
The winner of East Africa's Got Talent 2019 is Esther and Ezekiel.
The Ugandan Ghetto Kids have now advanced all the way to London. This clearly shows that it is not the end of the road for talent in the country, but the beginning of the highway. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Well, congratulations, Uganda, once again. Now, the Deputy Chief of Defense Forces, Lieutenant General Peter Elwelu, has appealed to all Ugandans to love their country, regardless of their political affiliations. Elwelu revealed that disunity, hatred, and mistrust in government have been spotted as the major bottlenecks that have affected the development of our country. Elwelu made this revelation while passing out over 1,000 patriots from 11 secondary schools in Kaberamaido district.
What has kept other countries together, united, prosperous, is because of the love they have for their countries, for their people, for themselves. They believe in them, they believe in their country, they believe in their leadership, they believe in everything they have, because this land was given to us by the Almighty. We found ourselves there. We did not choose to be here, but we found ourselves. So whether we wanted to or we don't want it, we must love this environment. And nobody will help us love this environment except ourselves. There's no shortcut. So for me, this is a very, very important program for our children. For that generation needs to focus. It needs to be focused so that they become better leaders, better managers, better everything for this very country. We should be having people who know what their country is all about, who know what it took this country to be where it is today. So they should take over and they hand over. So it's like a relay game. You hand over, you continue, you hand over, you continue, that's all. So for me, this is a program that must be really promoted in this area and all over Uganda. Very, very important.
And in Rukunjiri district, the mobilization teams for the senior presidential advisor on special operations, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, have been inaugurated. The launch comes in as Kigezi sub-region warms up to host the senior presidential advisor on special operations, General Muhoozi, on the 19th of this month.
The MK movement chapter for Rukunjiri district has been commissioned. This was during an event held in Reshama. Present were national leaders from both the MK movement and MK army.
Specifically, in affirmative action. Bawa chirangu, waba kanotambura umuhanda, ukavuga no mwana, omujembu MK. Waulira, abakwani tonda kwa myaka 2 ya ex-governing eshatu. bulinji bene bamanyoha hamuzana tanyiga bulinji yona muri bashaka bene bamanyoha MK urama kuchigamba kuchimara yonoha noha umwe kirembu mu general muhozi kene rugaba waba waya ni rugo mu kirembu 2026 tigwe waba waya mu kirembu nji.
Also, we have come to see the challenges and problems they have and how those problems can be mitigated through the office of the Senior Presidential Advisor on Special Assignment, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. So on behalf of General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, I have delivered warm greetings to these people and we have expressed our concern to their challenges and have requested their leaders to put them in writing so that the Senior Presidential Advisor can forward them to the President.
Part of the launch was this boat competition. The launch is part of the activation program for General Muhoozi Kainerugaba Kigezi visit slated for 19th April 2023.
The Banyamutumbi are very good people. I'm glad they have warmly welcomed us here and I'm happy that everything has gone as per plan. We have come to mobilize them to come for Rukunde Gumeo in Ichigezi in Kabale on Wednesday. If they can come on Tuesday, let them come and sleep on the street.
I'm Robert Onyango and Sharon Chomugisha for UBC News.
The President Islamic Medical Association of Uganda, Professor Majid Kajimu, has disclosed that Saidina Abubakar Hospital is in to become a center of excellence to serve the underprivileged. This was during an iftar dinner organized by the Islamic Medical Association of Uganda, aimed at promoting the Islamic principles of Muslim professionals in Kampala district. Professor Majid Kajimu encouraged Imam branches to use the Ramadan opportunity to strengthen and renew the faith of their members and partners.
Islamic Medical Association of Uganda branch members have increased the Islamic spirit of charity by organizing medical camps in different areas to serve the underprivileged. The President, Islamic Medical Association of Uganda, Professor Majid Kajimu, says there are plans to make Saidina Abubakar Hospital a center of excellency.
The Islamic Medical Association of Uganda has plans to expand Saidina Abubakar Islamic Hospital and also to make it into a health center of excellence, an academic health center of excellence, to be able to train health workers as well as serve the community in various specialties. So we have plans of doing that, and we've been sharing them with the members, and we think it requires joint action, partnership to be able to achieve it. It's a big dream. But we have the land as the first start, and we think that with Allah's support, we think we shall achieve that dream. That's a big dream which we think will be one of the infrastructures which will be leading a leading center for provision of health services using the strength of our faith.
He was speaking at an iftar dinner in Kampala. Professor Majid Kajimu said the hospital is to be a regional center of excellency in East Africa.
We are members of the Federation of Islamic Medical Associations of the world, which has we're about 50 countries. But Uganda was selected to be the regional center for East Africa because of the strength of our organization, IMAO. So I think that center will also be a center of excellence, to be a center of excellence for mobilizing our East African colleagues to be able to do a good job also in their own countries. And I think that is, doing these kind of activities, we are going to be an example to other countries in the region.
He asked Muslim professionals to follow the Islamic principles and implement them in their line of duty. The Executive Secretary, Imau, Kampala branch, Dr. Saka Mustafa, encouraged Muslim practitioners to help the underprivileged in any capacity.
It may not only need money, but also it is very important to help someone if they don't have the money. You can even advise them with your professionality, and it can better their health. And this brings us together as a community, and it helps and it contributes to the general health of the country, and it also helps the improvement of our community. We would love to appreciate everyone for the work you do in your different specialty, but I urge all medical doctors, I urge all nurses, I urge all the various specialists to ensure that we help the community such that our people get good health so that they are able to gain wealth.
Women were warned against the use of some birth control pills.
Postino is a drug that most people use when they are trying to, as an emergency contraceptive. People have unprotected sex for some reason or the other, or they have a failed contraceptive, and then you have to use a drug that tries to prevent contraception. So the question was, Postino, is it related with more topics? And the answer is yes. Postino has a high dose of progesterone, and you also don't encourage people to use Postino more than 3 times in a year because the dose is too high and the side effects are many.
Doctors that participated in the annual specialized medical camp were awarded Sudat Kaye. UBC News.
Now, multiple interagency investigators are spending sleepless nights investigating and analyzing each move regarding the Karamoja Iron Sheet saga. At least 53 individuals that include government ministers and members of parliament are named as beneficiaries of the bonanza. We have a detailed report.
Over 50 members of parliament, including ministers, are allegedly to have been named as beneficiaries of the Iron Sheets bonanza, with some pleading innocence. Among the ministers who have so far faced the law include the Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Mary Chitutu, though she was recently granted bail of 10 million cash.
The application for bail is a constitutional right. Whether you get it or not is discretionary and depending on a number of factors. And it's my opinion that if you are not able to provide an expeditious trial, you should be able to provide parameters where a person enjoys their liberty while they await trial.
So I think I want to applaud the system. They're doing their work. And right now, for now, we are seeing that no one seems to be above the law. I think that this thing is going to implicate a lot of people. It's very unfortunate. But how we deal with it will either show that we respect the rule of law or we do not.
Minister Chitutu is facing charges of corruption, loss of public property, conspiracy to defraud government, which cases she pleaded not guilty to. For the relevant authorities to put to book those suspected to have a hand in the Karamoja Iron Sheets saga, this saw State Minister for Finance Amos Lugolobi being arrested and is now pending prosecution. Minister Lugolobi is alleged among the few beneficiaries who returned the iron sheets after a twist of inquiries over this issue.
Initially, we agreed to that arrangement where I would make good the iron sheets on top of that roof. And unfortunately, the following day before we could execute this, a big story came out in the New Vision. Now, the team changed their position and said, we don't want you to buy the iron sheet. We want to recover those ones.
Return of property wrongly appropriated or stolen or wrongly used does not take away the criminal offense of either abuse of office, theft, among others.
But you've still committed a crime. If I kidnap your child and then when the police is hot on my tail, I bring the child back, I have still committed a crime. We have to answer for our crimes. We have to be accountable, especially leaders. We have to have leaders who are accountable for their crimes.
Legal minds highlight on the rights of an accused person in police detention to get bail and a fair trial.
One, you're supposed to be detained in a gazetted place. Some of the gazetted places include police, if you have not yet been committed, and prison, after you have been committed.
He's given a right to be presumed innocent unless proven guilty. He has a right to medical treatment. He has a right to access his family, to access a lawyer.
You are required constitutionally and by law to be produced in a court of law within 48 hours. It doesn't matter whether you are still investigating, whether you feel this person is a hardcore criminal.
On several occasions, arrests have been conducted, however, due to delays in investigations. This at times fails the work of the DPP's office.
The law does not deal with investigations. The law deals with what happens after investigations. And so if you are investigating and you feel you are not ready to charge, there are two things. One, do not arrest.
An accused person has rights. An accused person is supposed to be presumed innocent until proven guilty. So in order to incarcerate someone endlessly because you have failed to do your work or you failed to get the evidence that is required is unfair.
There is no justification. I'm still investigating, I'm waiting for a witness, I'm waiting for a forensic report. 48 hours you have before you produce a person before a court of law.
Under circumstances that investigations are still pending, some courts are compelled to remand the suspect if he or she is not granted bail. However, legal minds say this at times infringes on the rights of the accused.
There is what we call the mandatory remand period. If that remand period has been exceeded, the prosecution now is put at pains to prove why this person should stay on remand. But we need to realize that our police and our DPP are understaffed heavily. They are under-facilitated.
Not every charge should be sanctioned. Number two, the police knows that the DPP has initiated a prosecution-led investigation. Follow the advice and guidance of the DPP.
Among those allegedly implicated in the Karamoja Iron Sheets saga include the Vice President Major Jessica Alupo, Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, Finance Minister Matia Kasaija, Speaker of Parliament Anita Among, State Minister for Karamoja Affairs Agnes Nandutu, among others.
While the people of Karamoja deserve justice, even those accused equally deserve justice. In all this we say due process should be followed.
We don't want suspected criminals walking all over the place, showing people that there is no justice, there's no one doing something. At the same time, I'm wondering, the people at the center of this, the Karamoja people, what are we doing for them? These iron sheets that have been returned, they've been taken to Karamoja, or are they lying somewhere rusting as evidence? We also need to understand.
Inze Namamonde Deborah, akusakidde bino.
Thank you very much, Namabode Deborah. Hundreds of locals in Ruhiira Town Council in Isingiro West Constituency, Isingiro District, that were recently hit by hailstorms have seriously been hit with famine. Now, some family heads are since turned into beggars from their neighbors in order to get what to feed their children. Let's have a look at this report.
It has been 1.5 months ever since Ruhiira Town Council in Isingiro District was hit by hailstorms that claimed lives, destroying plantations and properties worth millions.
Houses, schools, churches, homesteads and banana plantations were all destroyed. A total destruction, including electric poles.
Isingiro district leaders have filed a disaster report and sent it to the Minister of Disaster in the office of the Prime Minister.
Surely it is a very great shame, and it shows less care of government to its people, because constitutionally the government should protect people and their property. And when we don't have what to eat, the government should hurriedly come for the rescue of people such that they can provide them with what to eat.
You see, the government has got very many bureaucracies, very many orders to follow. If somebody does not have food, that one means that he has no life.
Residents have been left to choke on its after effects, including famine and lack of shelter, since majority of their homes were destroyed behind repair. Some family heads have since turned into beggars, casual laborers, robbers, all in the quest to have their children live for the second day.
Surely people don't have what to eat. They just go to the neighborhoods to work such that they can get food and posho.
The government should think about them, but really with food. If they are still thinking about our people, let the earlier be the better, because life is everything.
These, say the concerned ministers who should be providing locals food relief, are instead concentrating on how best they can pull themselves out of the scandal.
When we consulted, we were told that the office of Prime Minister has some challenges. The stores are closed. They are making reports on what happened. Of recent, we had iron sheet scandal, which is jeopardizing the process.
However, Ruhiira Millennium Circle has donated assorted items to the affected people.
We are looking at people who were heavily affected. There are some who were affected, but at least they have something. Some plantations remain. But others, the plantations are clearly washed away by what? By rain. So we are considering those that were heavily hit by rain.
Because it is important, and they were very much affected, very much affected. It was beyond, any other person would say this is true thing we should have done.
The State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. J.C. Muyingo, has lauded Ndejje Senior Secondary School for offering a holistic education to Ugandan learners. Minister J.C. Muyingo made the commendation at the Diamond Jubilee celebration at the school which the school marked 60 years of existence. Details in this report.
State Minister for Higher Education John Kirizesto Muyingo has hailed Ndejje for fully adopting the new curriculum and pledged continued government support to the school.
A newly formulated project is in advanced stages with a component which will revamp our traditional schools. Ndejje SS has been identified as one of the beneficiaries under this project. This is intended to revamp and expand all the old schools that have been in existence for over 50 years.
The headmaster Ndejje Senior Secondary School, Dr. Charles Kahigiriza, prides in the school's hierarchy, especially teachers, that have grown the students' intake from 1,200 in 2012 to close to 3,000 now.
God has been very gracious to us, has granted us stability as a school, has granted us growth in all aspects of school life. Academics, co-curricular activities, and many others, and spiritual development of our students, and the success of our old students in the careers where they go.
The school faces numerous challenges, but none more pronounced than the road network that is hindering its growth. Started in 1963 to offer secondary education to Bulemezi and Bururi counties, Ndejje SS has witnessed boundless growth that has turned it into a first-class center of academic excellence, attracting students from all corners of Uganda and from abroad.
A 65-year-old retired director in charge of administration of Uganda Prison Service, Moses Katungye, has been laid to rest in Ruhiira district. The deceased has been eulogized as an exceptional officer whose legacy should be emulated. Details report.
Apostle Alex Mitala has urged all church leaders to have distinct houses and separate church properties from personal belonging.
I was encouraging my brothers and sisters that we should have at least a burial site somewhere, so that after you die, there is a place where they can take your dead body to bury it. Yes, we are preachers. God has called us to preach the gospel. We love God, we love people,
but it's also wisdom to have a place where they will bury that body of yours.
Pastor Ruth Mwagarwa of the King's Way International Ministries in Ndejje says that most of our focus is on widows and elderly people.
I'm leading Widows Intercessors Ministries in this nation, where I go around in the nation, in districts, deep in the village, reaching widows. And most of them, their husbands were ministers. They are ministers, we are pastors, but they don't have any place to be. They are suffering, their children are not going to school. So this is very, 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 very important, especially you pastors, men, to know that when you go and you leave this world, you are leaving behind a widow, you are leaving behind the children. They have to have a place, even where to bury you.
Pastor Peter Kasiriv of Gaba Community Church urged men of God to go for Bible study, since there are many institutions now.
Community health, social work, IT, education, special needs, programs in
The Minister of State for Lands, Dr. Sam Mayanja, and his wife gave an insight on the purpose of the reunion and gave them plans for the next 5 years.
Some of the pastors, especially those who were there in the early 60s and the early 70s, you see there the doctrine was only preaching. You preach and leave the rest of miracles to God. But we have now seen after preaching, you are still in this world. There is this world of sickness, this world of need, this world of materialism. You still have to build a house, you still have to feed. Now the first plan has been successful, to get it accepted by people, especially those in the leadership of the Pentecostal Christian faith. I'm happy today we've had Pastor Wantate, who is the head of Gospel Mission to Uganda as the church here in Makere, but also behind him over 1,000 churches. We've got Pastor Kasirib, who behind him is over 800 churches, hospitals, and now the university, secondary schools, over 10, he has said 11,000 students have gone through his system, and now people working for themselves.
This thing is going to expand. We are ready to get some money to finance those old people, unable people, to comfort them more than what have been done.
Because we want to launch the fund, we want to make sure that pastors retire well. That is our vision. And their children will rejoice.
Nga tuyise ebintu bingi naye mukama bw'abanga atugasse mu bumu buno ne tulabaganako abakulu n'abakulu tuba twebaza Katonda.
The ceremony was graced by senior gospel singers, mostly hailing from Full Gospel Church. Jamilu Sekaja compiled the story.
The Sickle Cell Rescue Foundation has donated an air purifier to Sickle Cell Ward in Mulago to help in providing fresh air to patients and to avoid any airborne diseases. This was due to the increasing number of sickle cell patients of about 15 to 30 cases a day. Daniel Roy Odur, the Executive Director, Sickle Cell Rescue Foundation, says that this will reduce a number of infections which are airborne and create fresh air.
We have opted to donate this to the sickle cell ward. This air purifier, we believe that it will go a long way in refreshing the stale air which is within the sickle cell ward here. and also to help and reduce on a number of infections which could actually be like airborne within the ward. It will also provide some element of fresh air, especially now that we know that our patients who are inside here always needs a good number of amount of oxygen, but this oxygen should be clean enough so that it can help to sail through their blood vessels.
Thank you for loving our sickle cell patients. The number has increased. Children are very many.
So glad that they've come up again with this idea of an air purifier. We appreciate that the wards are congested because the patients are many and we have to care for them. So I think this will go a great way in helping improving the environment in which our patients are admitted and also where we work as health workers. We also need to be healthy.
But we would want to pledge our commitment as a foundation to always come in and try and supplement on what government does. We are also aware of the raising cases of sickle cell. We have been told that almost on a daily basis, we see about 15 to 30 patients coming here. Those are new cases, and that is quite alarming. It's also very sad to note that annually we give birth to about 25,000 children who are having sickle cell, and out of those 25, between 50 to 80% die off before their 5th birthday. And
the Chieftaincy of Military Intelligence in Uganda, Major General James Birungi and his Rwandan counterpart have hailed President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and Paul Kagame for their improved relationship and cordial working environment, which has enabled sustainable development across the two sisterly countries. The duo were addressing hundreds of dignitaries during the wedding of Major John Kansime at a colorful event hosted in Mbarara City.
N'abakyala balitegedde nnyo Yoweri Kaguta Museveni kubanga ye yatumanya ate nammwe ne mutukuuma. Sisobola butajja kubeerawo ng'omujulizi mu nsonga eno. Era ffe kyetuva tugaa nti muzeeyi tava ku main asigaleko ng'avuga.
General Birungi, we normally invite each other for work purposes. But he has gone further and invited me to attend this colorful event. We also need some time to relax, and I therefore thank him for having invited me for this.
I want to deliver this message to your boss. Like Robert said, I want to be honest that he cannot cross the border to come to Uganda without seeking permission from the president. And he can only get permission from the president of where? In the due course. Robert Niwaho, obutinyi bwawe President Kagame nuwa kwabe nashabursa yamanyiraho nkariho umuntu bakwetwa Prince Robert. Icyakabiri nyenda kusiba President Museveni na movement yona abo kubasa kuteza ivyone bikore ivyona. Actually hariho abantu bakuru nko gushemera uwo kureba ubu otare twekita turiyaha turi n'amagenera aba n'abantu bakora abatantira umusingi abargira umucaka mwe movement twenda kugisima yebemera Museveni wasa kutaho kandi tukagere tukahika ibintu birunye kebe.
General Mozi abatumide tuli eyo tuli mu struggle kati abali mu struggle twabateeka wansi kati fa abali mu struggle.
Open it now, but it's something that I'm sure you will like. From James Birungi's friend.
A 65-year-old retired director in charge of administration of Uganda Prison Service, Moses Katungye, has been laid to rest in Ruhiira district. The deceased has been eulogized as an exceptional officer whose legacy should be emulated.
The Deputy Commissioner General of Prisons, Akena Samuel, has described retired senior officer of prisons Moses Katungye as principled and disciplined prisons officer whose legacy should be emulated. He was speaking at the official burial of Moses Katungye at his ancestral home in Rugarama village, Chigende sub-county, Mitoma district.
And the untimely passing of retired Assistant Commissioner General of Prisons, Moses Katungye. Mr. Katungye was a valued member of the UPS family, that is Uganda Prison Service family, having served in various capacities for 34 years. 34 years. From the 19th September 1987 until his retirement on the 17th of December 2021. We extend our heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, the clan, colleagues during this difficult time.
The Deputy Commissioner General handed over 12 million shillings from Uganda Prison Service to help in burial arrangements.
On the 27th December 2008, he became Director of Prisons. Director of Prisons, as I told you, is the third highest rank. Now designated as Assistant Commissioner General of Prisons.
Bubangizi Parish Priest Reverend Father Stephen Agume lauded late Moses Katungye for living an exemplary life.
Commend you into the hands of God. Mukama kwachire ubumuru mbusinje kandi nabeka mukama bayagire kuko yayagire Martha na Maria mu bukare uyaho Katungye Yesu wenka azombigerebye abatere ebyabene abateraho kandi mwe abakenyabiza kutuzikira Johnny Masses may you be blessed abundantly.
Lydia Katungye and her elder son Arthur Navasa thanked Uganda Prison Service for funding their father's burial expenses. Uganda Prisons doctors.
Shall be able to replicate and do even better, stronger, because much as we may have a little weakness today, we are strong, we are solid, we are united as a family, and we will not embarrass you, our fathers. We shall represent his name and hold him high.
Different officers from Uganda Prison Service, residents and leaders of Mitoma eulogized Katungye as a mentor, honest, disciplined, and a person of high integrity. The late Katungye Moses served in various capacities at Uganda Prison Service, was born on November 18, 1958 in Kanyabwanga, Bushenyi district.
Talk with freedom. Get MTN Freedom voice bundles that don't expire. Dial *100 *21# or my MTN app for more bundles. Together, we're unstoppable.
The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, under the auspices of the East African Community, will host the 10th East African Petroleum Conference and Exhibition 2023 from the 9th to the 11th of May 2023 at the Kampala Serena Hotel in Uganda. Take full advantage of the investment opportunities in the East African region's vibrant oil and gas sector. To find out more on how to sponsor, exhibit, or attend the 10th EAPCE 23, visit www.eapce23.eac.int.
Glow as you are with the new Spark 10 series smartphone from Airtel in partnership with Tecno. Own the timelines with picture-perfect selfies using the 32-megapixel selfie camera, 256GB storage, G88 gaming processor, and a strong battery to last the whole day. Towakana.
The Spark 10 smartphone comes with free 3GB from Airtel and 100% bonus on weekly and monthly bundles every month for 3 months, so you can stay connected to a world of possibilities. Dial *100 *5# to enjoy free data. The new Spark 10 is available in all selected Techno shops countrywide. Airtel, the smartphone network in partnership with Tecno. Stop at nothing.
This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
She is our family's pride, and as her father, I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
It's the encounters with our majestic gorillas, the thrill of taking on the falls of the Nile River, the joy of discovering new traditions, and a lot more. Join us at the 2023 Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo from the 26th to the 29th of April at the Commonwealth Resort, Munyonyo. Rediscover our country's uniqueness and see what the tourism sector has in store for you. Visit www.poate.co.ug to secure your spot and get set to learn, network, and explore. The Pearl of Africa Tourism Expo is brought to you by the Uganda Tourism Board in partnership with Competitiveness and Enterprise Development Projects. Explore Uganda, the Pearl of Africa.
Iwakato, this is a quick call. I'm almost out of minutes.
Why rush through such important conversations? Airtel Uganda has made it possible for you to call across all networks in Uganda at the best rates with the new Bona voice bundles. Stay connected anytime, anywhere, with minutes valid for calls on all networks. Dial *100*1#. Select voice bundles and select Bona voice bundles today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Are you tired of high fees and slow transfer time when sending money? Look no further. Airtel Money is here to revolutionize the way you move your money. We have revised our rates, and now sending money from Airtel to other networks in Uganda, East Africa, and to the rest of the world has never been more affordable. Plus, you can trust Airtel Money to get your money where it needs to go quickly and safely. Simply dial *185# and start sending money. Switch to Airtel Money today and experience unbeatable rates and top-notch services for all your local and international money transfer needs. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight. In the world of business, the Ministry of Education and Sports has pledged to support public and private schools in promoting the new vocational curriculum. Now, this commitment was made by the Hajati Safina Mutumba, a principal education officer at the Ministry of Education and Sports, who represented Minister Muriku Kaduchu at the Riverside Students Exhibition in Bujuko.
Recently, government rolled out a new education system to teach vocational subjects in schools to provide skills to learners. The initiative of 4 many schools already implementing this arrangement, and Riverside schools are among the priorities for vocational education. Students at these learning centers showcased the different skills attained in an exhibition. A principal education officer at the Ministry of Education and Sports, Hajati Safina Mutumba, who represented Minister Dr. Muriku Kaduchu at the event, pledged the government's support to different vocational institutions and schools.
Appreciate School for Life Foundation for the innovations they have put in place in making sure that they implement the curriculum and syllabus the way the ministry has packaged it. Ministry of Education, first of all, we are responsible for developing the policies, guidelines, operational standards, and the curriculum. For the government schools, much as we give out the materials, we go an extra mile of even contributing financially, but also paying the salaries of the teachers. For the private schools, we come in to support, we distribute the policies, the curriculum, and the standards.
Riverside School's National Coordinator Brenda Namulinda explains about the essence of vocational training, an idea they started way back.
Here at Imbazi Riverside High School, our teachers have undergone training into the implementation of the lower secondary school curriculum. And our pioneer students who are currently in senior 3 are going to sit a DIT exam in November under the lower secondary school curriculum. We have been working hand in hand with the Ministry of Education to see that all education programs under the ministry are being implemented to their full.
Although the new curriculum has not yet been spread out to most primary schools, parents and students applauded the school's administration for the vocational skilling.
Children have been learning, besides class, they've been learning practical things like baking, they've been learning making craft sandals.
We teach people in my community so that they can also get the chance to learn the skills they have been teaching us in our school, and I'll also encourage them to learn more about other skills.
They educate them, they give them skills, hand skills, which skills have also benefited us as parents.
Meanwhile, students of Ruhiira Secondary School are proud of the cause, as it has enabled them to compete at the workers' levels.
Eyamba omwana okola ki okubanga alina kyayinza okukola ekipraktic kati waliwo courses nga olaba mechanical engineering omuntu ng'asoma kukanika is I believe nti kyandibadde manufacturing engineering omwana asobola okukola emmotoka.
Kino kyenkola eno project gyenkola nga nnyuddwamu nnyo cause nsobola okwasizaako muzadde wange if it is paying the school fees.
Head teacher Ruhiira Secondary School Agatha Nachiseka. Students and teachers, however, want government to support the new curriculum and cited some challenges.
The new curriculum has really blessed us because it enables us discover the potentials of these learners, and if we can develop them, then they become socially acceptable.
Given the ability to take it up front, but when they are supported. Because when we don't support them and we think that we are going to remain in these offices, we are going to remain in this leadership that we are doing, we are mistaken.
The school shall conduct an exhibition in various vocational skills on 13th next month. I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Jerry con. Jerry con. Hey, Master Blaster. Touch him, man. Bang Jerry con with muscle. Those ones who say go for you only. Mundava. Best school fees I teach you. When I go to which the school, because of the cover is very far. Is you serious? Is serious you? What? Yeah? You stay put on it. Add kilometers to your legs, and you get your sugar. We buy meat from Umaru, and Umaru refuse to give you enough meat. Mama! Show him that they don't joke with you. Umaru,
okukakaluka n'okulungi kwetaagako omuntu akuyambako n'olwekyo tujja kukuteerawo embeera esaanidde osobole okukola ekisinga awamu teri kitulema.
And in the world of sports, the Uganda Cup has continued to surprise many, with the latest to four being joint record winners Kampala Capital City Authority Football Club. The club's demise happened at Kavumba Recreational Grounds at the hands of Soltilo Bright Stars Football Club.
10-time winners Kampala Capital City Authority Football Club's journey in the 2023 Stanbic Uganda Cup has been ended by a resilient Soltilo Bright Stars side. The game played at the Kavumba Recreation Ground was won for Bright Stars by a Nuruddin Bunjo second half strike.
Most importantly, the way they manage the game. We manage the game because KCC is, of course, one of the top teams in this country, record holders of this cup. So we came into this game definitely as the underdogs, but we have an advantage over them. Like we beat them in the first round. I think the boys still had the vibe about that, and we came and won this game. So we're looking forward to a good semi-final game. Hopefully we'll make the finals.
Kampala Capital City Authority Football Club's exit follows that of Express FC and has, according to reports, caused the resignation of Coach Molebye Kwanso.
We did not convert our chances. We created them. We got the penalty. We missed the first half chance of Poloto. Then in football, things go on changing. So we couldn't force a lot. But this is football. They try their best, but we could not come back.
The semi-final lineup is now complete, with Bright Stars joining Vipers SC, Adjumani Town Council and Police Football Club. John Barnes, Sentamo, UBC News.
Well, that brings us to the end of our 10 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight, the 16th day of April 2023. Thank you for being a lovely audience, and allow me to wish you a lovely week from the team and I. Have yourselves a lovely one.